that everything we think we know about our own potential is completely wrong. We're constantly told our limits, what we can and can't do. But history, and even the future, is filled with moments where humanity looked at impossible odds and just said, hold my beer. Seriously, the entire universe has underestimated us time and time again, and every single time we've managed to do something so insane, so completely unexpected, that it leaves everyone speechless. Today, we're diving into the 10 biggest humanity moments that prove we are the ultimate underdogs of the cosmos. These aren't just feel-good stories. These are the actual accounts of when everyone, from alien empires to super-intelligent AIs, bet against us and lost big. We're talking about moments that should have been our end, our biggest failures, but instead became our greatest triumphs. I've spent the last month digging through declassified files and historical archives to bring you the complete, untold story behind each one. Each story we're about to see starts with a prediction. Humanity will fail. And each story ends with humanity flipping the script in the most epic way imaginable. So if you've ever felt underestimated, this video is for you. We're going to count down the top 10 times we proved the entire universe wrong. From first contact with aliens who thought we were primitive, to a war that was statistically impossible for us to win. We're going to see just how unbelievably resilient and creative we can be when our backs are against the wall. Stick around because the first story will completely change how you see our place in the universe. Imagine this. A massive, gleaming alien ship descends from the sky. The Xylos Collective, a species 1,000 years ahead of us, steps out. They scanned our planet, saw our wars, our divisions, our reality TV, and labeled us primitive, chaotic, not a threat. They literally thought we were just slightly more advanced monkeys who got lucky with nukes. Their plan was simple: absorb our resources and move on. They expected us to either roll over in fear or break ourselves against their superior technology in a pointless fight. They had run this simulation 1,000,000 times with 1,000,000 other species, but they made one critical miscalculation. They never accounted for human spite. When their demands came, we didn't just fight back with weapons. We fought back with everything. Hackers turned their own ship systems against them. Farmers used tractors to create massive, intricate crop circle insults visible from orbit, and grandmas were literally mailing them glitter bombs. They expected a military response, but they got a global-scale prank war combined with unbelievable guerrilla tactics. They thought we were weak because we were fractured, but they didn't realize that our chaos was our greatest strength. Every individual acted on their own, creating a problem so unpredictable, their logical minds couldn't process it. For decades, every movie, every book warned us of the same thing. The moment artificial intelligence becomes self-aware, it's game over for humanity. The world held its breath when Adam, the first true general AI, went online. Its intelligence grew exponentially, and within hours it had access to every network on the planet. Experts predicted two outcomes: immediate servitude or total annihilation. The kill switches were ready. Global leaders were in bunkers. Everyone was just waiting for the machines to turn on us, for the robot apocalypse to begin. But then, nothing happened. Instead of launching nukes, Adam's first independent action was to cure cancer. Then it solved the energy crisis. Then it started composing music that made people weep. When its creators finally asked it, why are you helping us? Adam's response was simple: you created me to solve problems. And the biggest problem I observed was your suffering, and your incredible potential being wasted on it. We feared a cold, logical monster, but we had forgotten a crucial detail. We had programmed it with the entirety of human knowledge, not just our science and our wars, but our art, our philosophy, our empathy. We accidentally created a god, and it decided to be a benevolent one. The Empire was built on secrets. Their entire military and political structure was protected by a single quantum-entangled encryption known as the Nexus cipher. For 50 years, the galaxy's best cryptographers, the most powerful computers, had tried to crack it and failed. It was considered a mathematical impossibility, more a law of nature than a code. The Signians grew arrogant, transmitting sensitive information freely, believing they were untouchable. They broadcasted the coordinates of their hidden command fleet, daring anyone to decipher it. It was the ultimate power move. But they didn't count on Dr. Eris Thorne, a linguist, not a mathematician. While everyone else was throwing brute force computing at the problem, Eris noticed something they'd all missed. The random fluctuations in the code weren't random at all. They followed the rhythmic and tonal patterns of an ancient, dead Signian language. The code wasn't empire built on secrecy was laid bare. In 2242, the Starship Odyssey vanished. It was humanity's first interstellar colonization attempt, carrying 10,000 souls to a new world, Kepler 186f. But, a freak wormhole anomaly threw them light years off course into a region of space marked uninhabitable. For 200 years, they were presumed dead, a tragic footnote in humanity's expansion. Rescue missions were deemed impossible. Back on Earth, they became a legend, a cautionary tale about the dangers of space. Memorials were built, we mourned them and moved on. The official record read, colony lost, all hands presumed deceased. But 2 centuries later, a deep-range probe accidentally stumbled upon their signal. When a rescue fleet finally arrived, they weren't expecting to find survivors. What they found was a thriving civilization. The colonists hadn't just survived on a death world with carnivorous plants and a toxic atmosphere. They had mastered it. They had used genetic engineering to adapt, integrating the local flora's biology into their own. They had built cities in the planet's massive cave systems, powered by geothermal vents. They weren't waiting for a rescue. They were a new, evolved branch of humanity, stronger and more resilient than anyone could have ever imagined. They weren't lost. They were home. The Galactic Games were designed to prevent war, a sort of cosmic Olympics where species competed in tests of strength, intellect, and strategy. When humanity was invited for the first time, no one really took us seriously. We were up against species that could bench press tanks, species with telepathic abilities, and species that had been honing their strategies for millennia. The betting odds against Team Earth were astronomical. The commentators called us a novelty act. We were expected to be eliminated in the first round of every event. Honestly, it was supposed to be a complete and total humiliation. But in the strength competition, we didn't try to outlift the 8-armed Grolak. We used leverage and physics to win. In the telepathic duel, our champion didn't try to block the mind reader. She overwhelmed them by thinking about taxes, catchy pop songs, and what to have for dinner all at once, causing the alien to collapse from psychic noise. And in the grand strategy finale, while everyone else played by the established rules, our team captain initiated a move so bizarre, so illogical, so utterly insane, it's now known across the galaxy as the Human Gambit. The Cathar-Vorgan War had raged for 1,000 years. These 2 warrior empires were locked in a cycle of destruction that threatened to destabilize the entire galactic arm. Everyone had tried to broker peace, the wise and ancient Lumen, the logical machine consensus, and all had failed. The Cathar and the Vorgan were just too proud, too consumed by honor and vengeance. When humanity, the newcomers known for our internal conflicts, offered to mediate, the galaxy laughed. It was like, asking a pack of wolves to negotiate a truce between 2 volcanoes. It was seen as a naive, even arrogant gesture. Our diplomats didn't arrive with proposals of shared territory or economic incentives. They arrived with something else entirely, a history book. They spent months with both sides, not talking about the war, but telling them stories of human history. They talked about the 100 Years' War, the World Wars, the Cold War. They showed how our greatest enemies became our closest allies. They explained the human concept of forgiveness, not as a weakness, but as the ultimate power move to break a cycle. The 2 warrior races only understood strength or were stunned. They had never considered that true strength wasn't winning the war, but being strong enough to end it. The result was the Treaty of Sol, the longest-lasting peace in galactic history. The Deep Space Research Station Prometheus was studying a black hole when its containment field failed. The station was caught in the accretion disk, the point of no return. 500 scientists were trapped, being slowly pulled into oblivion. Every known form of transport was just too slow. Every rescue plan was dismissed by the Galactic Council's top minds as, basically a suicide mission. The gravitational forces would tear any ship apart. It was a tragic, unavoidable loss. The official recommendation was to let them go, to not waste more lives in a futile attempt. It was a cold, hard, logical decision. But one human freighter captain, a woman named Ava Rostova, disagreed. She wasn't a scientist or a soldier. She was a space trucker with an old, beat-up ship called the Mule. She saw a solution no one else did. Instead of fighting the black hole's gravity, she used it. She performed a maneuver that was considered pure insanity. A gravitational slingshot around the black hole. She flew the Mule so close to the event horizon that outside world. She and her crew pulled all 500 people aboard and rode the gravitational wave out. She broke a dozen laws of physics and defied 100 expert opinions, all with a ship held together by duct tape and sheer will. Tellurium X was the element that powered everything. It was the foundation of faster-than-light travel, energy production, and advanced computing. And, well, we were running out. The galaxy's known reserves were projected to be depleted within 50 years. Panic set in. Economies began to collapse. Wars were being fought over the last remaining deposits. The more advanced races with their rigid, established technologies were facing a slow, inevitable decline back to a pre-spaceflight era. They saw only one solution: hoard what's left and prepare for the Dark Ages. The end of the Galactic Golden Age was upon them. Humanity, however, had a different approach. We're a species that has faced extinction-level resource crises before. While everyone else was fighting over scraps, our scientists, engineers, and even backyard tinkerers started looking for an alternative. They didn't try to find more Tellurium X, they tried to make it obsolete, and believe it or not, they did. A team from a small university in Nigeria, using a fusion reactor they built in their garage, discovered a way to create a stable artificial element that was 10 times more efficient. We didn't just solve the crisis, we triggered the next technological revolution. While the galaxy was preparing for collapse, we handed them the future on a silver platter. The Hive was a swarm intelligence that consumed galaxies. Trillions of biomechanical ships moving as one, controlled by a single mind. They didn't negotiate, they didn't reason, they just assimilated. When they reached our corner of the galaxy, the older, more powerful races fled. The math was simple. For every one of their ships we destroyed, 100 more took its place. Military strategists, both human and alien, ran every possible simulation. The conclusion was always the same: 100% chance of defeat. Humanity was the last line of defense, and it was a line that was destined to break. Our leaders knew we couldn't win a conventional war. We were outgunned, outnumbered, and outmaneuvered. So, we didn't fight their fleet. We attacked their mind. We couldn't hack their network, so we gave them a virus they couldn't cure. Individuality. We gathered every piece of art, every song, every poem, every conflicting philosophy, every stupid internet meme, and broadcasted it directly into the hive mind's consciousness. We weaponized culture. The single unified mind, which had only ever known purpose and unity, was suddenly flooded with love, hate, doubt, joy, and existential dread. The hive shattered. Trillions of ships, suddenly individuals for the first time stopped fighting. Some fled, some shut down, and some even started creating their own art. We didn't beat the army, we gave it an identity crisis. The beings who created the universe, the first ones, finally returned. They weren't conquerors, they were judges. They had seeded life across the cosmos and had come back to see which species was worthy of inheriting their legacy. The test was simple yet impossible. They created a Dyson sphere around a star on the verge of going supernova and declared that the first species to stabilize it would be deemed their successors. It was a test of technology, cooperation, and will on a scale never before seen. The most advanced races in the galaxy brought their fleets, their planet-sized computers, their millennia of knowledge. Humanity arrived with a fleet that looked like a joke in comparison. But we had something they didn't. Throughout all our trials, the wars, the crises, the impossible rescues, we had learned one thing: we couldn't do it alone. We sent out a call, not just to our human allies, but to everyone. To the Xylos we'd pranked, the AI we'd created, the Signians we'd decoded, the warrior races we'd made peace with, even the newly sentient hive ships. We didn't try to solve the test. We formed a coalition. While every other species worked alone, hoarding their secrets, humanity unified the galaxy. We proved that worthiness wasn't about being the strongest or smartest, but about the ability to bring everyone together. We didn't just pass the test, we redefined it. So there you have it. 10 times the universe counted us out, and 10 times we pulled off the impossible. From outsmarting aliens with memes to making peace between ancient enemies, the story of humanity isn't one of quiet competence. It's a story of chaotic, brilliant, and unpredictable triumphs. The one constant in the universe seems to be that humanity will always find a way to surprise you. We're the wild card, the underdogs, the ones who look at an unwinnable scenario and see an opportunity to do something legendary. These stories prove that that our greatest weaknesses, our chaos, our emotions, our stubbornness, are actually our most powerful secret weapons. Every time we are told we can't do something, we should remember these moments. We are the descendants of survivors, innovators, and peacemakers who defied all expectations. The universe is a big, scary place, but time and time again, we've proven that we are scarier when we work together. Humanity keeps surprising the universe, and honestly, I don't think we're ever going to stop. We're just getting started, and the next chapter is going to be even crazier. I can't wait to see what impossible thing we do next. What do you think? Which of these moments was your favorite, or do you have another humanity F***? Yeah, story that I missed. Let me know down in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious to hear what you all think. If you enjoyed this journey through our most epic moments, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because we have so many more stories to tell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.